What's going on, guys? Today I've got for you all another replay from when I was doing my OU suspect laddering, and I actually ran into Reverb on the ladder. He happens to be one of the owners of the OU room on Pokemon Showdown. As you can see here, he pretty much ripped off Telly's team. This is what I was talking about in my other videos. This is a Stallbreaker Talonflame, which means it has a lot of Spit Def put into it. But I actually brought a completely new team. This is basically just something I adapted from CTC, except I replaced Hippowdon with Heatran because I was getting destroyed by Tyranitar plus Mega Venusaur cores, so I needed something for that. And then Stealth Rocks, I mean, Heatran makes a just as good of a Stealth Rocker as Hippowdon and checks Electrics pretty well, which can be kind of annoying to my team, and especially because I have... Yeah, and it also cuts down on an Ice weakness, because with Hippo I had 4. So now I have an extra resistance to that, so I don't get destroyed by stuff like Weavile if I keep myself healthy. So anyway, that's enough of that. We're going to get into this battle. He leads Sableye. I decide to lead Slowbro. I decide to just stay in turn 1, see if I can fish for a Scald Burn, and even if he did go for the attack, Sableye unboosted is not that powerful, and I can just switch out and get Regenerator. Lucky for me, though, I get the Scald Burn first turn, so I just decide to switch out into Heatran and start pelting him with Lava Plumes. And as he just goes for the Calm Mind here, so I got the damage I needed to force him to go for Recover again, and so I just switch back into, well, I switch into Altaria, get my Mega Evolution off. Actually, no, I don't. I actually expect him to go into his Ferrothorn here, but he makes a different play. He goes to Clefable, so now he's going to be able to know what I locked myself into. Expecting to switch into Hippowdon, I go into Gliscor just to get my Toxic Orb activated, but he just goes for Heal Bell, so this is a Cleric. Clefable, so that burn didn't matter quite as much, as I decided to go for the SD and reveal that this thing is unaware, so already this thing is kind of a threat. This is like the one thing I need to kill for my Gliscor to just kind of clean up his team. So I don't get the burn this time, as he passes the Wish to Sableye, and I get the burn this time. As he goes for the Shadow Ball, I am indeed specially defensive, so that's not gonna do anything to me. As I just decide to go back into Altaria. And I forget what I do this time. Did I pull the double again? Nope, I just Mega Evolve this time. And for some reason, he switches back into Clefable. This was a really crucial play for me, because I get a huge hit off on Clefable. Obviously, this thing is not Bold Max. He might have expected me to go back into Magnezone, just trying to catch Ferrothorn once again. But... yeah, this thing is the thing that is keeping his Pokemon healthy, and it's also the thing that's stopping my Gliscor from just running over his team. So I just decided to switch out back into my Magnezone as he goes into Hippowdon, so that's obviously not a good matchup for me. So I decided to just go back into Slowbro and start spamming Scald. He gets up his Rocks. That's not a huge deal. None of my Pokemon are really that weak to Rocks. Either they have Recovery, or they just don't mind getting Stealth Rock damage onto them, or they resist it, like Magnezone, for example. So here I pulled the save switch just into Magnezone, maybe if he wanted to overpredict and stay in. But nope, he makes the smart play and goes back into Hippo. Not a huge problem, as I can just go back into Gliscor, and I don't even know what I do here. I pulled a double switch into Heatran, not expecting him to want to stay in, since he can't really touch me, but unfortunately he ends up going into a Starmie. I just go for Protect, just gauging what kind of Starmie this is. So gauging by that damage, that does 0. So this is probably some kind of defensive thing with Recover. I just go for Rocks, forcing him to go for Spin. As I go for the Lava Plume, maybe fish for a burn. As I do get the burn, so I'm lucky and bad staying in with Heatran on a Starmie. But ultimately that's not really going to matter, as I just lay up my Rocks again. I don't really need this Heatran healthy for a lot. Gliscor beats Ferrothorn 1v1. And so does Magnezone, obviously. So I just decided to go for Roar. And here I just go into Magnezone because I know this thing doesn't have Flare Blitz. It just has, okay, here, this is crucial. I don't know, this pretty much sealed the game from here, because Reverb sacked Clefable. I have no idea why he did that when he has a Hippowdon just sitting here. Maybe he figured out it was some kind of choice specs thing, because that was the only way I even had a chance of 2-hit killing Hippowdon, so kind of a bad play on Reverb's I can't talk today. Reverb's part, because now not only do I get the momentum of Volt Switch, but I knock out his most important team member. I didn't realize it back then, but Gliscor pretty much just wins. But nevertheless, I do, well, I go for Defog here first of all, as he goes for the knockoff, which is a pretty smart play on his part. As, yeah, so he definitely thought, oh, man, I restarted the replay. Hold on, let me just get back to the turn where we left off. Okay, so I think this is where we left off. I go for Defog as he goes for knockoff, so he definitely thought that I was some kind of Specs Magnezone, because he was probably expecting that to come in, and this is in fact specially defensive Ferrothorn, as you're going to see later. So so with Leech Seed, he could stall me out with Protect if he got a double Protect. So now he just goes back into Hippo, probably wanting to set up his rocks once again, as he just goes for Slack Off, expecting Draco Meteor, as now I'm pretty much free to spam Scald because his Clefable's dead. If something gets burned, it's going to stay that way, and I'll just be like whittling down his team. And at this point in time, I was still thinking that maybe Altaria was going to be my win condition. I just kind of underestimated the power of Gliscor, but as you're gonna see here in a second, and I get lucky with another burn. I don't even remember if I stay in here. I don't think I do. But yeah, I just switch out back into Latios as he goes for the recover, confirming this is a defensive Starmie. Now I can just click Draco, and he can't risk me double switching into Magnezone on his Ferrothorn, or else I just kind of win with Altaria. So he sacks Sableye here. Another thing that could have potentially been a threat, but since Clefable is gone, Sableye's burn is there to stay, so he couldn't really set up on my team anyway. As I just go back into Slowbro on his Hippowdon, and I just go for repeated Scalds. Would have been nice to get this burn right here, but unfortunately I don't get it. As I do just decide to go into Magnezone here, just directly as he goes for the Leech Seed. And it's kind of unfortunate, like throughout this entire battle I worked so hard to get my Magnezone in on his Ferrothorn, and in the end you're gonna see this actually doesn't do as much damage as I thought. Like 58%, it tanked it. And but you know, it's fine. Even if I don't manage to knock it out, I could at least get enough damage to the point where it can't wall Altaria. But he gets a I've gotten my fair share of hacks, but here he gets a really crucial double protect. So not only is my Magnezone gone, but this Ferrothorn is like pretty much at full. So I accomplished nothing doing that. So I just decided to go into Gliscor, and that's kind of when I realized that I could just sweep him. Because judging by the damage that his Skull did to my Heatran, Gliscor is going to be able to take those no problem. But here I make kind of a play. See, I know this team. This is Reflect type Starmie, just judging by what I've seen so far. And I actually have Ice Fang on my own Gliscor to combat other SD Gliscor. See, these have been really common lately, especially in tournaments, but also on the ladder. So he goes for Reflect type, and I'm able to knock him out with Ice Fang. So that's really... I mean, I would have won anyway, but it's just a play I felt like going for. Even with the Leech Seed, this Ferrothorn is not going to be able to stall me out, especially because it's not physically defensive. I think it's like a sassy nature. It might be running like some defense, but not really that much. Not to the point where it can stall out a +6 Gliscor now, because I predict his Protect very nicely. And here I'm going to predict him again as he goes into Talonflame, and I go for the Ice Fang, getting off a ton of damage on it. He gets frozen, but it doesn't matter really. Like he can't Roost on me because I can just go for Earthquake and kill him. And either way, I have Roost on my Gliscor, so... And he doesn't have SD on Talonflame, so there was really not a whole lot he could do. I mean, I was actually safe to just go for another Ice Fang, expecting his Taunt. And expecting him, me to go for Earthquake on his Roost. So, I guess it avoided... It just kind of sped up the impossible. I mean, it sped up the inevitable, not the impossible, I think. So now, I pretty much have this game won, and Reverb forfeits. So that's gonna be the game. It's a really... See, this is like the... starting to get into higher caliber play. Especially with like just really high caliber teams. This team is really next level, and so is Reverb's. You know, this team peaked #1 on the ladder, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, because Telly made it and laddered with it. I'll go ahead and link the RMT in the description because it really is a good team. Honestly, his matchup wasn't great because once Clefable died, Gliscor just swept him. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and leave a like and subscribe.